Paul Martinez, great to see you, man.
Good to be here.
Tell us about Brewery Pak.
Brewery Pak is an insurance program that's offered nationwide.
Yep.
Through retail agents primarily, and we provide property liability, liquor liability, auto, umbrella, workers' compensation, and employment practices liability.
So it's a general business package that's geared toward the insurance issues facing breweries.
That's correct.
Now, how risky a proposition from an insurance standpoint is a brewery?
Well, a brewery is, it's a manufacturing risk. It's a very unique manufacturing risk in the fact that there are claims that affect breweries that won't affect other manufacturers. Leakage, contamination, equipment breakdown, things of that nature are genuine and very costly concerns that face brewers today.
What's the biggest claim risk for a brewer?
I would have to say it's equipment breakdown.
Yeah.
The sudden and accidental breakdown of machinery, tanks, equipment, the glycol room, those probably provide the biggest risk.
It's almost like unemployment insurance for a brewery, that kind of thing, right? If that machinery goes down,
Absolutely.
you're hurting.
Absolutely. So some other concerns are leakage. Obviously, That's a big concern. Contamination. If the beer, in between batches, there's ammonia that's left in the lines.
You're running a processing operation. You got to clean it. You got to bring it back through. Now, is that's sort of covering lost production again?
Yeah. So it would cover the beer itself. It would cover the damage to the tank. Business income, loss of profits would also be covered as well. Claims handling is extremely important in these situations because it's a highly stressful time for the brewers, especially when they suffer a loss.
You know what I heard is highly stressful? I don't know if you were listening upstairs, but it turns out that the age of rampant promiscuity is over.
Is it?
And that Hugh Sisson said that twice fast. Hugh Sisson said that, and I think there's going to be a real loss of manpower in the industry now because of that. So from an employee safety standpoint, what are the biggest insurance issues?
Employee safety standpoint, you have proper eyewear, headwear when you're in the manufacturing facility. There's also the possibility of exploding kegs.
That has happened.
That's a very big concern.
Very sad story at times.
Absolutely.
And we talked a little bit about the issue of cybercrime actually starting to infiltrate the brewery scene, right?
Absolutely. And probably one of the biggest misconceptions that a brewery has is, I don't need cyber insurance. And the first question is, well, do you have a website?
Yeah.
And they say, yeah. And I go, well, you have cyber insurance because, your website can be hacked. Your brand reputation could be harmed because of it. There's damage control. There's the cost to restore the software. So those are all extremely costly endeavors.
Absolutely. Plus your credit card machine.
Yeah.
Everything you're selling.
Yeah, your POS system. Huge.
Both to day-to-day consumers and also your industrial customers.
Correct.
Now, one thing that I think is interesting is y'all don't necessarily insure, say, if you're dumping a batch. Like if something goes wrong in the process due to ingredient problems or even mistiming. Let's say you do a 92-minute IPA instead of a 90 and the whole thing tastes off.
Right.
That's not something that Brewery Pak, that's a more questionable insurance situation?
Well, that's really I think that's blanket across the industry where human error is generally not covered. The same way wear and tear is not covered under equipment breakdown coverage, human error would not be. And at the end of the day, it would have to take some kind of a foreign contaminant that's not part of the normal beer making process in order for the coverage to trigger. And I believe that to be true on any insurance policy that you have.
Sure. Now let's talk legal insurance. I mean, we're in an age of growing class action suits, both for labeling claims and for trademark suits,
Right.
as well as, when you start to get into beer, you start to get into alcohol issues as well. What are the kinds of ways that companies take out insurance in the legal with regard to legal practices?
Well, part of our package is a general liability, which covers third-party bodily injury, property damage. That also covers product.
Although not bodily damage due to extreme promiscuity.
Right, extreme promiscuity.
Because that's just human error.
Right, correct. But liquor liability coverage is also a big concern for breweries, especially if you have a tap room.
Yep.
You have to monitor, depending on the state you're in. Some states are more lenient towards the servers than others. But generally, you have to not serve someone who's intoxicated. Usually when there's some kind of an accident or, God forbid, there's loss of life, it has to go through the entire chain of where they were, what they ate. So it's very costly, especially for the legal expenses.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really what drives the claims.
So compared to other business types, what percentage of top line cost accounting should breweries put toward insurance? 80, 90%?
No. No one would open breweries if that were the case.
I'm trying to help out here, man.
I never really thought about it. I mean, I'd say, if you're a new venture, you're starting out, you're putting a business plan together, I generally advise put $5,000 aside for your insurance. Probably won't spend half of that, okay? But it's always better to go conservative than not, especially when you're putting together expenses on a business plan. But I think percentage-wise, it should be under a certain percentage, maybe 5%.
Yep.
Or something below. I mean, the lower the better, obviously.
Yeah. No, and do y'all have sort of a scalable package for startup breweries up to industrial?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we write breweries from brand new ventures all the way to the top 10 in the country. And, it's just a matter of adding coverages, providing additional endorsements, for the bigger guys. As you grow in a brewery, you have different insurance concerns. Every year, everything changes,
Absolutely.
Especially in this business.
What's the craziest brewery claims case that you've ever had to investigate?
Craziest in what sense?
Like most bizarre, not
bizarre.
We don't want tragedy here at Brewbound today. We want sort of a graining injury or something,
You don't really get. I have to say this about the brewery industry: we haven't seen a lot of claims where other than the normal slip and fall, questionable type claims. Everybody goes to the brewery to enjoy the beer. So it's really not a litigious environment.
Yep.
So those wacky claims, I haven't really seen them yet, and I hope I never do.
Yeah.
I do love the way this industry is collaborative in that sense, and everybody is just there to enjoy the beer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, listen, Paul, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us. Anything else the folks out there should know about their insurance needs?
Ask your agent. If you have a local insurance agent, you should definitely use them, and especially a local insurance agent that's always in your brewery. Those are the guys that you need to give the business to.
All right, man. Hey, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.